Hello everyone, it's Jayma here, and today I am going to create a single page layout that's actually going to be the title page of my Hawaii album. This is a great photo that we all took before dinner one night on my dad's birthday. My dad turned 75 over the summer, and so we went to Hawaii to celebrate. So I've been working on this album and have done quite a few pages so far. This is an 8.5 by 11 page that I did of my sister and her family's trip to Hawaii in 2022. And I really like just the look of this page. So I'm going to do a 12 by 12 page, but I'm going to use this as my inspiration. I really like the 4 strips of pattern paper here, kind of off to the side. And then we have a big photo here. Of course, mine's bigger, but I'm going to have a bigger canvas. And then kind of the title up here and a little embellishment cluster down here. So I'm going to put this up in front of me as inspiration, and then we will pick out our papers for this. Now, I was trying to decide between 2 paper packs that I really love. So this one is Mixed Media Florals, and this one has a lot of the colors that are gonna go with the photo. So we've got, my mom's wearing a really bright pink. This is not super pink, it's a little more reddish orangish, but I think I actually see it right here. There are some more pinky tones in this pack too, but I am wearing, and my sister are both wearing very similar colors of blue that matches the blue that's in this pack. So I really liked how this looked. Of course, I will use these very busy patterns sparingly. And then we have this pack too. This was Bloom Impressions. It was one of the paper packs from Celebration. And what I really liked about this pattern is that it's got this color of green, which matches my daughter's dress really nicely. So the 2 packs have different colors of green, but this also has the hot pink that matches my mom's dress. So I'm not quite sure which one I want to go with. I really like both of them. I'm thinking that this pattern in particular really brings out a lot of the greens in the trees as well. I love the match of the blue. It's just absolutely perfect for our dresses as well as the sky. And then this pinky reddish color blends well enough with my mom's dress. And then my brother-in-law back here is wearing sort of a pinky colored shirt. So I'm going to do some combining of the papers. This paper actually is the perfect match for our dresses as well. So we could combine those. If I do this, I don't have the same color blue. I might be able to make it work. I could probably blend that in. But let's see if I've got this one on top, and this is the right color to go with my daughter's dress. It's not the exact color green in this paper, but I think that it might actually go well. This actually looks very Hawaiian to me too. I love that. If I don't have this right next to here, I think that actually looks pretty good. So let's see. I'll probably do my strips a little bit wider since I've got more real estate on a 12 by 12. All right, I feel like I need another pattern here. We've got this one as well, which goes with this pack, but it's a little bit darker. I kind of like that as well. So I'm bringing in, this has darker tones that kind of blend with this well enough, but it's also got some of the lighter tones that mix well with this. I actually like that combo a lot. I think I'm liking it more than I would with this one. This is more bold. Let's see what else we have in here. This is really pretty too. But the hot pink, I guess it might go with that. That actually looks pretty good. There is some Flirty Flamingo, I think it is, in here. So it's like a light pink, and then Poppy Parade, which is like an orangey red almost. I don't know. I think I want to keep to this. Maybe I could matte this or bring it in another way. Maybe add some layers behind my photo. I don't know. I really like this with my mom's dress, but I think I'm feeling these 4 right here. This pack also has some black and white patterns. Actually, let me pull these out because there are a lot of patterns that might go. So we ruled this out because that's too much orange. This is more pink. There's some black and white patterns in here too. Maybe I'll matte my photo with some black. I feel like this is still a little busy. I think I'll just use black cardstock. I'll matte it in white because I feel like white always makes it pop, and then do a second matte in black. And I think that'll pop nicely off of all of these bright colors. But I do like that this pack has the black and white patterns as well. I think if I were to do something like this, this is too busy with this and this. That's just my personal opinion. And then we've got this one too, but this is going to be more orangey colors than pink. So I don't love that. I like having the one busy pattern. These ones are all a little bit more calm. I'm just going to go with this. I'm trying really hard lately to not overthink my paper decisions. I tend to overthink everything. Raise your hand if you do that too. I'm trying to make quicker decisions. It might not be the perfect decision, the perfect paper choices, but it's still going to look lovely, and just try to get that decision made so I can move on. Okay, I've got my paper cut down and my photo double matted like I mentioned. This photo is an odd size. It's like 7 by 6 or a little over 6, something like that. I was trying to print an 8 by 10 for my mom. She wanted to frame it, and my printer did not print it that size. So I decided, you know what, I'll use this for my scrapbook. It's perfect. So I think I actually want this busiest pattern on the outside, because when my photo goes down approximately like here, then my photo is not going to overlap this at all. If I have this, I originally had it so that it would be the second one in, because I was trying to separate the greens a little bit more. And if that's the case, it's going to be overlapping this a little bit. And you know what, why don't I just try it and see what I think? But typically I don't like my photos right on top of the busy paper. Yeah, plus this one is so pretty. It's my favorite pattern. I'm just gonna swap these ones, because then this one will be, it will have more visible because it's on the outside. So I like that better. And I think I'm going to have it, I cut these at 2 1/4 just because I wasn't sure how wide I wanted it. But do I want it at 1 1/2 or maybe 1 1/4? And then have these maybe sticking out like 1 1/2 or so. So they go almost halfway across the page. And then I'm going to tear all of these just like I did in my inspiration piece. Gives it a little bit of texture on there. Okay, so before I do that, I want to figure out my ink smushing. Now, I recently collected all of the Stampin' Up! Colors except for last year's in colors, which is boho blue, which is this blue right here that matches my dress perfectly. But I'm feeling like that's what I want to be kind of back here. So what I'm going to use is the blue Belle from Close to My Heart, and that's a really close match. I think it'll work just fine. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to do some stenciling. I actually got this stencil out, which has a nice floral pattern, and was thinking I could just do a little bit behind here and behind here. But because I already have a lot of busy florals over here, and I'll probably have some florals in my embellishing, I started thinking, I think I might just want to do a little bit of ink smushing, which is the simplest form of mixed media that you can do. So let me grab my mat. Okay, so this is my all-purpose mat that was from Close to My Heart, and I just cut it in half. I love this mat because it's got like a silicone coating on the bottom, so it stays on my desk nicely. So if you are intimidated by mixed media, try doing some ink smushing, because it's the simplest form of mixed media. So you just need some sort of non-porous surface to work on. I just smush it right on there, and then I'm going to take my water and kind of water this down, because I also want to make the color a little bit lighter, because the blue Belle is slightly darker than the boho blue. All right, so I have just taken a zip top bag. This was something that embellishments were in or something, I think, and just kind of rubbed it around here just to spread out all of those drops from spraying it. And I'm gonna use some scrap paper first, just to make sure that I've got the color correct. I might even want to use a little bit more water just to make it a little bit lighter color. So the more water you add, the less saturated your color is going to be, obviously. Now you could do this with ink pads, re-inkers, watercolor paint. If you have watercolor paint, you could color some water-based markers. Just scribble the markers. If you have the Stampin' Up markers, maybe scribble them on here, then spray them with water and do the same thing. So I think that is going to be good. This is always scary, but you know what? I have not glued anything down yet. It's just white cardstock. If I don't like it, I can chuck it and try again, right? Not losing anything. Okay, so got my photo about here. I want it to stick out about here. And it's looking a little different on the cardstock, right? Because I just tested it onto some typing paper. So you don't need to have watercolor paper for this. Now, if you did use watercolor paper, then it would soak in a little bit slower and it would maybe spread a little bit more. But we don't need that for what we're doing, right? We can just kind of blot it. And then because we're not working with watercolor paper, this paper is very thirsty with ink and water, and it just soaks it right up. Wherever the ink goes down, it's kind of just going to stay there. And I think I want to have just a little bit down here. We're not going to see much because these are going to come out. So let me just kind of put a little bit here. Probably most of this is going to be hidden, but I just want to have just a taste of it. Maybe a little more up here. That is so cute. Okay, I'm going to clean up, let this dry, and then we'll come back. All right, so here we are, all dry. Let's give a close-up look. You can see how much lighter it dries back. That looks so good.
Yeah, I love it.
I just love the added texture that brings in.
That color could not be more perfect.
Do you recognize those voices? Those were my creative design team friends, Chelsea, Julie, Janice, and Erin. Unfortunately, Katie already left. We've all been together in San Diego. And so I didn't think to do this voiceover before she left. And Andrea, unfortunately, wasn't able to come with us. But we have had the best time here in San Diego. And you will see us scrapbooking those photos in the very near future. But back to this photo here from Hawaii. So I'm tearing off the edges of each of these strips, and I wasn't happy with how this one tore, so I'm kind of fussing with it here, but all the other ones kind of came off in one fell swoop. I'm tearing the right strip back away from me, and that makes it so that the white core of the paper doesn't show. If you wanted the white paper to show, you would tear the right piece toward you. So now that is all done, and I did mention bringing in maybe some layers over here to bring in some more of that pink color, but I decided after all that I did not like that pink pattern that I had shown earlier, and I wanted to just bring in more of this floral pattern because I really liked it and I wanted to draw it over to the other side of the page. So I cut a piece of that off and just tucked it behind there, and then I strategically cut it so that anything that was hidden behind the photo is cut off so I can save that for another project, or I'm also actually going to add another piece down here at the bottom. And then I also did the same thing with some of those green pieces because I wanted to bring in a little bit more of that green color. I cut those ones actually a little bit too small. This one seems like a better size. And then I'm going to bring in another little piece of this floral pattern, and I'm liking those layers a lot. Next, I brought in this title sticker sheet. This is from Vicky Booten. I actually used this on another recent layout. It's got some great title options, and I thought I was going to want to use this for my title, so I'm testing out vacay, and then I thought maybe travel notes. I was really drawn to travel notes, so I'm going to trim that out and kind of test it out here on the page. I really like how travel fits right there across those three less busy patterns, but while I think about it, I'm going to start doing some stamping and die cutting. I have this Happy Hibiscus stamp and die set, and actually there's a hybrid embossing folder too. It's such a fun set, especially for Hawaii photos. So first I'm going to stamp the hibiscuses. They are all together on one stamp, and I'm going to stamp it in First, this is Strawberry Slush. It is a brand new color from Stampin' Up. And then I'm going to go over it just very lightly in Poppy Parade. Poppy Parade is that reddish orangish color that's in the flowers, and I wanted just a hint of it to make it a little darker, but I wanted it mostly to have a pinkish color. So I thought that mixing those two colors together would work well, and it seems to be a fairly good match. I wanted the reddish orangish that matches, but then bring in more pink because that's what I really wanted to have in my layout. And then I'm taking the Strawberry Slush and going over the hibiscuses with that just to give it a little bit of a pink tint. And that is looking good, but I was starting to feel like I needed just a touch more red. So I took the blending brush and just did a tiny bit of red also in the middle of the hibiscuses. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up, I'm going to do the die cutting and the embossing at the same time. So I'm lining up my die and I'm going to tape it with a low tack tape right over the stamps because I don't want it to move. And then I'm going to take my embossing folder and I want the logo facing up and then put the dies so they're facing up. And I'm going to line them up and they kind of like lock in place so you know that they're where they're supposed to go because they kind of, I don't know, lack of a better term, I guess, kind of lock in place. And then I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine and it's going to die cut them and emboss them at the same time, and it looks so cool. And once I did this, I decided, you know what, I don't really like that added red, so I went ahead and did it again and did it with just the Strawberry Slush, so it was more pink and a lot lighter, and I like that a lot better. I did a lighter hand with the pink and no red. So I ended up needing one of those other ones I cut that has more red, so I just kind of tucked it under the hibiscus down there on the bottom right, but I'm not going to use any of the other first ones that I did. So since this is just one page, you can do a visual triangle or you can do more of like a diagonal line. Of course, the kind of guideline of a visual triangle isn't a hard and fast rule you have to follow, but it is often more pleasing to your eye, but it also just depends on your page and the composition. So I do kind of have a visual triangle with my flowers here because I've got the bigger cluster on the bottom and then I have a flower on each side of my title. I decided to cut a title on my Cricut rather than use that sticker sheet that I had because I wanted it to say Kauai and I wanted it to have sort of a scripty font. So I cut that out on my Cricut and I have a video showing exactly how to create a custom title on your Cricut. If you're interested, I will link it down in the description below. If you know me, you know I need some sprigs to go in my clusters. So those Monstera leaves are from an older Close to My Heart set that I had in my stash. And then these ones are from a brand new die set that goes with the Pretty Florals stamp and die set. And I was showing that to you on the screen just a moment ago. That set releases on May 6th and it is a fabulous set. You'll see me using that again. But I really liked the shape of these leaves. They worked perfectly. They are almost a perfect match for the leaves that are in that mixed media florals paper, that busier floral paper. So I cut those out in garden green, and the Monstera leaves are cut out of Pool Party, which is kind of like a greenish blue, and then also that same green, that's that second pattern in from the left. I kind of alternated those. I'm going to add a few of the Riverside Irregular Pearls as my little bling embellishments. These are the ones that have a little bit of a green tint to them. They're like green and iridescent. They're so pretty. And I'll just add those in a few places. And then I decided I wanted to add the years so that we know what year this was. So I found this very small, teeny tiny 2024 in my stamp collection. And I'm going to just stamp it so it's, easily visible, but not super in your face here mixed in with the leaves. So here is a close-up look at how that all turned out. I love how this title page turned out. I'm curious, do you call this the title page, cover page, intro page, first page? Let me know down in the comments. If you're interested in anything I used, I'll have everything available listed in the description below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you'd like to see another Hawaii layout, then I've got that on the screen right here. Thanks for watching.